Hello, beautiful people. It is day 335, and today I'm talking about recognize your art. And it was actually Don Miguel Ruiz. I was listening to a podcast with him on it, and I just totally loved how he said, we must recognize our art. And it's so true. And to be honest, I hadn't even finished the podcast yet, but as he just started saying it, I was like, pause, this is going to be a great 365. And if you haven't listened to any of his stuff or read any of his work, he wrote the 4 Agreements, the 5th Agreement, was it Mastery of Love? Amazing. And he even reposted one of my posts once with my dog, and I posted something about him being like my greatest teacher of love, and Don Miguel reposted it, and I totally had a fangirl moment. But anyways, speaking of dogs, I'm like Frizzy Lizzy right now. I look like a poodle, like my dog. But anywho, on to recognize your art. It really spoke to me because we are constantly in a 100% 24/7 co-creation with everything, everyone, the universe. It's all expanding. It is a constant thing. And I love the parallel, and I've talked about this, I think, in other videos, where even if you are a business person, you are an artist. To create a business out of nothing literally is such an art. If you are a scientist, you are an artist, because you have to step into creativity and thinking of what do we not know of yet and what's possible. And it's such a creative mindset. And we like to think of artists as singers, dancers, musicians, painters, and all of those are artists as well. And every single person, including mathematicians, are artists, because math itself is the most amazing art ever. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Geometry, hello. Everything is mathematically perfect, including flowers, snowflakes, everything. So it's really finding your art. And why I really love this is people are in love with traditional artists. I have been on, I don't even know how many plane rides, and you always sit next to the people and they ask you, what do you do? And I'll say, hey, I'm a life coach and I work as an entertainer in LA. Most of the time they're like, what's a life coach? They don't really know, and I have to kind of explain it. But when they get into the entertainment side, they're like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, what are you doing? And usually when I'm on a plane, it's because I'm flying somewhere to go entertain somewhere. And people are always fascinated by it. And it was almost always like this awe of, wow, that's a cool life, And, I ask them, what do you do? And I am always like, dude, what you do is so cool. They have all these skills that I don't have. And it's kind of the idea of the grass is greener on the other side. And I just have found this sense of awe. And I want to make sure too, it's not to discredit any entertainers or, traditional artists. Oh my gosh, like the amount of beauty through music and dance and, paintings and art and drama and all the things. It's phenomenal. I'm really committed to also having people see themselves as just as creative in whatever it is that they do. And when we can really discover our art, there is that sense of awe then within ourselves, and that builds confidence, it builds trust, it builds all the things. And when you actually realize what you're doing when you're creating, it's all kind of boils down to the same things, and it's getting your mind to this blank canvas, or to this space of just really asking yourself, like, what's missing in the world, or what's really possible, like what could I actually create, or something inspires you, and then you have this inspired action and you don't even really know where it's coming from, and then you go to create. And when we do that, whether you're a doctor and you're inventing a new way to do this new brain surgery or whatever, that is your art. And when we really discover what our art is, it's always going to be so tied to your truth and so tied to your joy. And every single person has some glimmer of that artist in them. And I really just challenge you and encourage you to seek out what are the things that bring me joy, and what are the things that I would do for free if I, could, and, if I would do it forever and not get paid, although I ideally want to get paid, right? It's important that we can have energy exchange to give back out into the world and keep things flowing. But they're just great questions to kind of get the brain going and find those answers for yourself. So what is your art? What do you get to bring to the world? What is possible? And again, if it's something that you haven't quite honed in on or discovered, I would really then, challenge you to start trying different things and putting your little feelers out there, because I know that whoever's watching this, there are things that are on your bucket list. There are things on your list in your mind that you have wanted to try, whether it is something of traditional arts and learning how to play the piano, or you're like, hey, I want to create a sales funnel for this idea that I have for an online course or a job or, whatever. Or, I work at this corporation and I have a better idea of how we can manage things. That's art. If you're an amazing manager, boom, that's the art of conversation. That's the art of influence. That's the art of organization. There's a lot of different things. So really finding that artist within you is so key, guys, because we need you. We totally need your art in this world, and every single person has that. So cheers to all of you beautiful artists out there. And thank you, Don Miguel Ruiz, for the inspiration today. I'm going to finish listening to this podcast. I almost looked over here because earlier I was listening to my phone. It was over here. But I think it's called The Breakfast Club. I've never listened to it before. It's the first time I fell upon this podcast. So anyways, you guys can probably type in The Breakfast Club and then his name if you want to listen as well. So cheers to that, guys. And I love you all. Okay, bye.